Hi folks, Ben from RC Bengineering. I'm working on my SCX10 today. I'm actually working on the body and some lighting, and it's going to have automatic reverse lights like that Model A that you saw in my introduction. I'm going to real briefly show you the trick on how to do the automatic reverse lights. It's super simple. I'm going to show you that right now. So here's what I've done here. This is the wiring harness for my lights. I've taken the positive lead for the LED lights and hooked it to the negative lead of my motor. And I've taken the negative lead of my lights and hooked it to the positive lead of the motor. Said differently, I've hooked my lights to the motor. Yes, this does only work with brushed. I've hooked them to the motor leads and I've hooked them up backwards. I'm going to show you that this works, and then I'm going to tell you some considerations. So I've turned off some of my lights so you can see this better. This is a store-bought string of lights. They're not actually the ones I'm going to use. They're going to be mounted in the body. This is just easier for demonstration. So run the car forward. They don't light. Run the car backwards. They light. Forwards, backwards. So the reason that this works is, even though we call these lights for our RC cars, they're not lights, they're diodes. And diodes only allow electricity to flow one direction. So if you hook them up backwards, no electricity flows, but you also don't destroy them. But there are a couple of things to consider and a couple of things to not worry about. It doesn't matter if you're using store-bought light strings or if you're making your own out of LEDs and resistors. Um, you probably have caught on that it does only work for a brushed model, and you don't have to have an extra channel. You don't have to have an auxiliary switch. It doesn't matter if you're using stock electronics or aftermarket electronics, stock transmitter, aftermarket transmitter. But one thing that does matter is, since you're hooking these to um, the motor has more volts than if you had these hooked up to your receiver, because your battery eliminator circuit in your receiver limits these. For example, in my car, if these were hooked to the receiver, they're getting 6 volts. But since they're hooked to the motor, they're going to get over 8 volts because I'm running it on 2S. So just make sure when you pick out your lights, they can handle the amount of volts that you are putting to your motor. Um, these only take 20 milliamps to operate, so you're not going to see any negative impact on your reverse speed unless you're Tow Mater, the world's fastest backer upper. You're good.